This is take 3 for base preparation, and if you do your math correctly, you'll realize that there's only 2 skis. So I've actually already prepped this ski once. I'm just going to kind of be showing you how I did it and going back through all the steps, and hopefully it'll turn out just as nice. So what we're doing with this particular video is trying to explain how to prepare the base for wax, and then this is actually step 2. Step 1 is to repair any goof ups in the base, and I've done that on another video. And then so this would be step 2 to get the base ready for wax and get it level, and most importantly to set the bevels on these 2 edges. The next step will be to do the sides, and the final step will be to do the waxing. So our goal here is to make it perfectly flat from edge to edge, so just the black part here, and then to put a slight bevel on the steel part, and you have to choose which bevel you want. Most recreational skis, we would go with probably a 1 degree angle, so it would be 1 degree off of the base. So if you look at, here's a cross section actually of a ski. In this particular one, we would want it to be flat from here to here in the white, and then the edges just need to have a little bit of an angle to them. So when you bring your skis into a ski shop, they might ask you what angle you want, and maybe you'll shrug your shoulders and you'll say, I don't know, whatever you think is right. And they'll probably recommend something within a tiny bit of 1 degree. And then they'll probably hand you a piece of paper that says, be sure you remember this. So what I do, because my memory isn't very good, I'll just write it on the back of my ski. So I took a Sharpie and wrote 0.7 and 88. So 0.7 degrees is the bevel that I want to put on the base. It's a little more aggressive than a 1 degree bevel. It means you'll probably hook up just a little bit quicker. If you get too aggressive on that, say even go down to 0 or ½ degree perhaps, you might find the skis a little squirrely. Then again, you might not notice it all. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through the list of tools that I'm going to use to do this, and then we'll finish these skis up. So first off is this is a brass bristle brush, and we'll use that to clean the base, get any old wax off of there, dirt. We have this scraper, and this is actually, if there's big chunks of wax left on it, it'll pull those off, and it'll help to level the base if there's any parts that are proud of the edges on the base. So we'll take those down. You might want to use a file, and again, this will only be on the black part here. So you put it on and see, put it on there, and I like to push my hand in the middle and pull it across. And it's not going to do much because these skis are pretty flat. You can verify the flatness with a machinist square. This is a very flat surface on here. You put that on there and kind of slide it a little bit, and you go, I don't see any light, so that's nice and flat. One time you might want to bring your skis into a shop is once a year, once every other year, and have them do a base grind. And if you do that, then you will have to reset your angles like we're talking about. If you're actually resetting the angles from, one, say you rode and had it flat ground, it'll be at 0. If you want to set it to something else, you probably want to use a file. So you use a file and you'll put it in your guide. This is a 0.7 degree guide. You can buy these guides on Amazon. They're about $5, maybe 10, I don't know. Or you can buy a variable one that's made by Swix, and it's going to cost you probably around 100. So you would use these 2 tools with each other, and you would set the angle. Then you'll start going through your various diamond stones. So this is a diamond stone that I got from Swix. It's a 400. I believe it was oh gosh, it was quite a bit of money. I made my hat fly up. I think it was about 40 bucks on sale. So this year I bought a whole set of them off of Amazon, of course. These are from a company called AASC. I don't know how you say that. Anyway, the whole set was maybe 40 bucks. And this was a set of from 240 all the way up to 1,000. I'll probably stop at 360 just because I'm not going to use these to race. I'm no Michaela Schifrin. These are just recreational skis for our trip to Breckenridge next week. So I'm going to get them tuned up for that. I just came back from Whistler. They got a little banged up out there. And I'm going to try to reset them for my trip to Rec. So the other thing you might want to do is just kind of run your fingers along here and sort of note. Don't do it too much or cut them, but sort of note, well, here's a rough spot here. You're going to want to try to get those rough spots out. Here's a whole set of them over here. I don't know when you'll be able to completely remove those because they're in kind of deep. Also by way of tools, this one is probably not negotiable. This is a big fat rubber band. You can use them from, Office Depot. This is actually happens to be off of a pinball machine. Getting ready to give up here. I'll probably have one more tuning before it's gone. The other thing I have is a set of ski vices, and these are extremely handy and not necessarily required. I have the whole mess here mounted to a Workmate, which used to be, I used to just put my skis in the Workmate, and you can get it done like that if you don't want to invest in ski vices right away. Ski vices are, oh gosh, when I got these, they were 100 bucks. So now I'm going to guess they're probably 150. So I'm going to go ahead and lock my ski into the ski vise, grip onto the front binding, and we can get started. First thing I would do is get out my scraper. This is from a kit. If you watch the video on PTEX, this is part of that kit. And you just use it to scrape off all your old wax, and it helps level the base too. So, and again, there's not going to be much to see here because I sort of did these before, but you still get like just a little bit of base here. There might be some wax mixed in. I don't know. I use an all temperature wax. I don't try to guess the weather anymore. Tomorrow, much less a week. So it's not super important to get it off from the standpoint of having the right wax, but if you leave too much wax on there, you're going to gum up your tools, right? So the next step is I'll take my file and I'll just see if there's any more flattening to get down to the base. And I'm not trying to hit the edges, and as you can hear, you're not really hearing any steel. All I'm doing is I'm just taking down any high spots on the base. Picked up a little bit, but again, I've done them before, so it's really not too bad a shape. You can use a file card to clean out anything that might be stuck in there, so it cuts a little bit better next time you use it. That's what those look like. This one was 10 bucks at the hardware store. So now we get into the fun part. We're actually going to set the angle on the base here, and like most things, this job will go a little bit better if you use a little bit of lubrication. These are essentially whetstones. So this, I'm going to hit it with a 360 diamond whetstone, and I use for lubrication, believe it or not, I use Windex. There was some discussion online about various, some people use water, some people use a 50-50 water alcohol mix. I decided to just go with Windex because that's roughly a 50-50 water alcohol mix. So so what I'll do is I'll put it in my little holder here, and you can hold it in with your fingers. This came with a spot for an O-ring that kind of holds it in place, but one bad thing about these particular stones I bought is they're a little short. You can see they're lights go out automatically after 15 minutes. I guess I've been talking too long. Anyway, you can see that these stones are a little short compared to these Swick stones, so they're a little harder to get a grip on, but I can still find a spot for them here. So I'll put it in my holder. Again, you can get more expensive holders, but all that this does is, I'll clip it down with this little clamp I got. All this does is it just holds it up a little bit so that, I'm going to exaggerate, so it puts an angle on it like this, but you hold it down here, and then this is going to hold this to 0.7 degrees. One other little trick is you can use a Sharpie and mark up your edge. And when that ink is mostly gone, you're good to go. So that kind of helps you at it, if you're not sure if you really hit it or not. So it's good and dry. Hit it with a little bit of Windex, and then make sure you're contacting, at the correct angle. You might have a little different jig than this one, but just make sure that your file is sitting in that jig well and it's not moving. And you just work on that edge. And if you have some bad spots, you might hear it. You kind of want to keep hitting that until the sound goes away. I'm just going to work on this one little area because, like I said, I did it all before. It might be a little deceptive because I think I'm done. I'm going to just give it a quick wipe and see how that ink looks on there. Yeah, so that's all been ground off. I was kind of sitting in the slurry a little bit. So at this point, we have a fairly sharp edge. I can take my fingernails and shave off a little bit. But we're not done. We're going to do the sides later. So that is how you prep your bases for wax. So these bases are done now. They should be flat. There should be a 0.7 degree angle on each of the steel edges. And the next step is going to be to do the side angles.